Hi, my name is Pop. I'm making a third video tutorial about how to write a book and sell it on Amazon.com. This one is another science fiction story. I have two prior videos. All of these are science fiction stories. I have got it up on screen here in FB Reader, and this is a MOBI file which I have created from the ODT file. The ODT files are created by LibreOffice Writer, the word processor that I use. If you are using doc files, you can change the doc files into MOBI files by means of Calibre. Calibre is a program which converts to EPUB and MOBI, and MOBI is what is used on Amazon.com, and EPUB is very much used by Nook at Barnes & Noble. I'm going to quick read the synopsis of this story. A research institute contacts an alternate reality populated by a polygamous culture of humans with extremely heterozygous sexual features. That means the males look very male and the females look very female, who are at a medieval technological level, whom we have contacted because they have a surplus of gold, which they are eager to trade for our technology. The Institute sends a female detective, Susan, the main character, to the other realm to investigate the sudden death, perhaps by heart attack, of our elderly representative there. Susan has just had a romantic breakup and is soured on the idea of men not being manly enough, and soured on herself for having chosen a too manly career path when she is suddenly, ironically, thrust into a culture where she encounters more manliness than she could ever hope to see. She comes to understand the more intimate details of this culture while investigating the death of our representative, which proves to be a murder, not heart attack. Susan, like Anna of Siam, is offered a marriage proposal by her host Torlat, the wealthiest man in North America. His proposal would consolidate his position as main trade representative. Torlat offers marriage despite the fact that he already has 8 wives, potentially thousands of concubines, and is secretly bisexual, a crime punishable by death. Susan discovers her moral concern for the technologically backward culture and how the introduction of our technology, they want a steam engine, might cause them greater harm than did the steam engine of Christianity harm the New World. Susan is in a quandary at the marriage proposal and at the impasse of not solving the murder, and is furthermore enamored of her host's neighbor, brother-in-law Hennefor, when the murderer makes his appearance and Susan solves the crime. Although completely human, they are obligate polygamists by nature due to extreme heterozygous sexual diversity. They find our appearance repugnant, since to their eyes our males look too feminine, our females too masculine. They have developed into a society which has learned to curb group aggression by gelding their surplus male population at a nearly universal religious ceremony. At the onset of puberty, most males choose this route through inclination, though some risk being, quote, dual fodder, quote, and only a very few males survive to adulthood. The gelded majority develop into intelligentsia, workforce, or priesthood. Females are, all of them, available for marriage and or childbearing, or for a few as clergy. The few surviving males have divided up the world into 100,000 fiefdoms, which are run like imperial Roman latifundia, and the world is a very, very stable environment with a low population, hence the technological backwardness of their culture. But the males are themselves ruled by testosterone and personal duels, yet their culture has never known war due to their method of controlling aggression. To them, the very concept of group aggression, war, is as foreign a concept as is the absurd notion that mere gold has monetary value. However, they are not unsophisticated, not unaware of jealousy, trysts, greed, and the undercurrents of society. This is kinda sorta chick flick sci-fi, but with some Richard Dawkins memes, Robert Ardrey territoriality, Matt Ridley's Red Queen, and Desmond Morris Naked Ape. Men may swagger and duel and die, and some of them even get to rule, but women run the show. That's in FB Reader, and let me go to the very beginning and I'll show you. It's not a very long book. This is a short science fiction story. It's more like a novella than a full novel. And I've got it again divided up into chapters. I want to show you how badly chapters sometimes come out in Mobi. You have to be careful when converting. If you tap on this, you'll see that the chapters are at the end, and ooh, they're all nasty looking. Now I hope that they run better looking for the one that is online. I think that their conversion program catches a few errors that Calibre sometimes creates. Mobi is just the worst thing, it really is. Let me get out of this, and let me get out of this, and I want to show you the folder that I've got for all of the things I have. Here is the ODT file. The ODT file is LibreOffice Writer, the word processor. That's what I wrote it in. And it is the same words, it just has a different look. You can make it reflow. Let me show you about reflow. When you go up to View in a word processor document that's written in Calibre, you want to make darn sure that you are on Web View. And let me get this open full size here. When you go to Web Layout, you can then reconfigure and it reflows. And that's basically what an e-book reader does, except with an e-book reader it'll reflow when you turn it sideways. If I turn this thing sideways, I have to tell it that I'm doing so. I suppose in the next couple of years this will be a thing of the past. I suspect that all word processors will output EPUB just as they do now doc or text or PDF or whatever you want to call it. The EPUB format is what word processors are going to output from the get-go. Now, when I hit F5 on this, the F5 shows all the things that I have here, which are the table of contents. The blue is a chapter heading. Here is the next chapter heading. But when I hit this, this is a sub-chapter. And the sub-chapters are 3 deep. And there, it goes here and there, and then I've got a list of other books and stuff like that. I really enjoy writing, the process of writing, and you may ask, well, why are you using Linux? Well, I started off writing in DOS, and eventually I got a Windows 3.1, then Windows 95, then Windows 98, and then when Windows Vista came out, I very nearly hurled the computer out the window, and I switched over to Linux Ubuntu, and I never really looked back, although I did use Windows 7, and then Windows 8 has come out now. But you know what? They've done some stuff with Windows 8 where you cannot put Ubuntu on it with a dual boot. You've got to wipe it out. In other words, Microsoft is worried very much about the advent of Linux Ubuntu, and they've put a little block in there that you can't use it. And I don't know, someone will probably make a workaround on that. You can run Linux on a Mac, and right now Linux Ubuntu is in the process of being fixed up so that you can run it on a telephone. So I suspect, again, in a few years, we don't have a crystal ball that's completely non-fuzzy, but I think you're going to have your entire laptop on the phone, and then when you need a bigger screen, you'll just plug the phone into a bigger screen, and that's all you'll have. You won't have a laptop anymore. There might not be any laptops, there might be no more desktop computers. This is supposed to happen in 2014, but we don't know whether or not this is going to come out so quickly without bugs in it. I suspect there's going to be some bugs in it. This book right here is a science fiction story. I have always enjoyed reading science fiction. I don't know why. I used to read science fiction when I was a little kid. Picture this. It's 40 degrees below zero. Now 40 below zero Fahrenheit that's a magic number. That happens to be when Fahrenheit and centigrade coincide. Minus 40 centigrade is the same thing as minus 40 Fahrenheit. It is, well, you'll guess how old I am now, 1956, and I'm in Laramie, Wyoming, and there is no TV. There's no TV at all, and the radio is only on a few hours a day. And you know, they had the old standard radio shows on. There was Gunsmoke, there was Dragnet and stuff like that, but my favorite was the science fiction program. And I remember putting my ear right up to that radio and listening to that science fiction program. And then when TV came out, there was a program called Science Fiction Theater, and I think it lasted 15 minutes. I don't know what attracts me to science fiction. There's just something about it that makes me think, it makes me interested, and it's no coincidence then that's what I read, so that's what I write. I have got a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. Most of them are called Ubuntu Basics, but I thought I would make a few of them here showing how you can write your own book and put it on Kindle. Now, let me see how many words I got on this thing, the word count. This is not a really big novel. It is 27,000. It's really kind of like a novelette, isn't it? And I could have like bundled 3 or 4 of them together. However, you can go to Kindle and you can get this thing from their lending library, and it doesn't cost you anything. My name is Pop, and I thank you very much.